Welcome back to the 2025 PGT Kickoff. It is time for the final table of event number 4. The buy-in, once again, $5,000. But every day, there is more money up for grabs as these events keep growing. Let's go inside the PokerGO studio right now as cards are about to get in the air. My name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me in the booth for some expert analysis. And please chime into the chat with your own hot takes and opinions as you see fit. We encourage it. I'd love to hear from everyone. As we look at today's final table, Martin Zamani on top, recently winner of an event at the PGT Last Chance. But for now, my eyes are on the short stack, Mr. Patrick Leonard, going for his second title here at the Kickoff Series. This is how much is up for grabs. I was not lying. There's $157,500 up top. That is the largest first prize of the week so far, with one more event to come after this one. Final 7 guaranteed, 25,200 cards in the air. Let's have some fun. The question is, can Pads spin it up? He's coming into the final table with 12 bigs. He's wearing the lucky sunglasses, so I have a fair bit of faith in him. But of course, a tough lineup as always, with Martin Zamani leading the way with 92 big blinds. The chip leaders have been successful here at the Kickoff Series. They've been making it at least down to heads-up play. Joey Weissman, however, was not able to capitalize on his chip lead as he fell to Patrick Leonard at the final table 2 days ago. All right, Spencer Champlin here picks up a monster right away. Ace-King for the man from Maine. He's sitting on 885. That is 14 bigs to be exact. Coming in for the race to 120. Champlin has one win under his belt, taking down event number 1 at the 2024 Poker Masters for $160,000. His career earnings totaling $3.6 million as Leonard tosses ace-5 into the muck. Mike Vanier, also present at yesterday's final table, made quite a nice run there. Ultimately fell short of the win. And there is the biggest star at this table based on tournament earnings. Sam Soverel, the big dog, $24.3 million in career tournament earnings from West Palm Beach, Florida. He decides to make the call here with King 5 in the big blinds as we see 10-8-6 Rainbow roll off the deck. Action on the initial raiser, who decides to check back. Turn is the Jack of Clubs. Ace High still out in front. Let's see if Soverel is going to try and take this one away.
Check. Five's gonna 5.
Soverel started this final table with 2.9 million, 50 bigs, right around second place in chips. We go check, check again, and then 3 of spades completes the board.
Seconds.
Soverel deciding to lead on the river. Betting 500K, and Champlin lets it go. First blood drawn by Sam Soverel. Getting a little cheeky here on the river. Taking it down with a overbet after neither player showed aggression on prior streets. Shout out to Glove City NY in the PokerGO chat. Thank you for hanging out with us. Same can be said, of course, for some of our regulars on YouTube. Martin Klanecki, as always, with us. Man of Straw, Philip, Human, Parnby, and Ian. I see you all in there. Lots of Pats fans to be expected, especially if he manages to, perhaps get one double up, get up to that 25 big blind range, have a bit more playability. As you know, blinds go up every 30 minutes. The level of death is the vaunted 75K 150. We're still a while away from that, so we got lots of play until then. This event had 126 total entrants. 18 places got paid. I'll run you through the players that missed out on the final table but managed to finish in the money. Kirsten Foxen among those, along with Justin Saliba, Jeff Mattson, former main event finalist Igor Yaroshevsky. Fan favorite at the studio, David Chen, also finished in the money, along with Event 1 winner Andrew Lichtenberger. John Reardon and David Peters barely missed out on today's final table. And Ren Lin, the man who likes to welcome you all to his company, was the unfortunate bubble boy of the money. So no cash for Ren Lin just yet. But there is still one more big chance, as event number 5, which is a 10K no limit, kicks off today, and it's proving to be, or it's expecting to be, quite a large one with double points up for grabs. It'll be interesting to see if we get some additional big name players show up for that one. Very quiet so far at this final table. I feel like players might still be working on their first coffee, perhaps? Let me know in the chat what you're working on. I definitely am having my coffee here, 1 p.m. in Las Vegas. Good time for my 3rd coffee of the day.
10 seconds.
Champlin, again, with a raising hand. Ace-King did not prove to be fruitful, so he's going to try with King-Jack. Vanier with the small suited cards gets out of the way.
Do you have the smoke this morning, Spencer?
A little bit, not as much as you.
All right.
Zamani inquiring about the smoke levels.
765 to start.
Thanks.
Important to take that into account when making your big reads. Zamani has listed cannabis as one of his hobbies, so that tells you just about everything you need to know. And he's going to come along and make the call here from the big blind on the big stack. 9 deuce 7, 2 diamonds. Both players whiff. Let's see if Champlin decides to continue in this situation. Contrary to Zamani, Champlin listed under his hobbies basketball, golf, hiking, and video games. The main resident has had most of his success down in Florida.
200.
At the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Results on the WSOP circuit, and then also a 2nd place at the 2025 Lucky Hearts Poker Open. So it's off to a great start in 2025. Champlin this time deciding to continue for 200K. Action on Zamani. And that gets it done. So yeah, Champlin, 2nd in that big event down in Florida, finishing 2nd to only the British pro Martin Zadenya, collecting $425,000 for his efforts. Great way to get the year going. Speaking of getting the year going the right way, Martin Zamani, winner of the PGT Last Chance just 2 weeks ago for $302,000. All right, who else we got in the chat here? Seeing some love for Donnie, who just had to step out. So R.M. Stern, we'll get back to your comment in the PokerGO chat when Donnie returns. One of our guest chatters says, having a Buffalo Trace while watching. Enjoy the commentary, guys. Appreciate it. Don't lick the chips, says, are any of these players also mixed game players? Great question. I am 100% confident that Patrick Leonard is great at all the games, just a brilliant poker mind. I am not certain of the other players, although I suspect Sam Soverel to have some chops. And I hope you're asking this because of our upcoming Super High Roller Bowl mixed games, in which I don't expect to see those guys specifically, but we'll probably have plenty of legends of the game participating. If you want to check out our schedule, I say keep PokerGO.com/schedule bookmarked. All the announcements of our upcoming live streams and episode releases will be on there as Zamani takes down the blinds and antes with a raise from the small blind. The Real Cheese says, second day in a row watching at work. No snitches, hopefully. Well, hopefully me giving you some love doesn't ruin it for you at work. Please keep your eyes on the road. Nick is asking, Rem, can anyone spectate the final table? Well, sadly, the final table set is closed off, unless your name is Chino Reem. Then you can do whatever you want. You can just walk in as your heart desires. But it is possible to spectate. We have big TV monitors. The bar is open.
Or something?
The cards are
fun
light.
vibe.
I can reach, you know. You don't have to toss it over.
And late at night, I'd say.
You find the time to stare at all these charts, man. You guys been studying.
But yes, late at night is probably the best time to come in here to observe some of the action, as it is easier to observe the final two tables in the main room, as we are not filming those. So if you are in Las Vegas, it's a cool little thing to be a part of. As Patrick Leonard finds ace-5 of clubs, he's on 12 big blinds.
Time extension.
Ends up going into the muck.
There's 10 seconds.
Vanier, king 4 of diamonds, picks it up.
How do you get your chips like that?
Zamani inquiring about the artwork that Vanier has been working on, aka aligning his chips all perfectly.
There's 395.
The joke back in my home game always used to be, whoever stacks their chips the neatest is the tightest player, because they're not using them all that much. Let's see if that holds up here, as Zamani makes it 395 with ace-8 of hearts from the button, applying that big stack pressure, especially knowing that Vanier has to be a little extra cautious with some of the smaller stacks still present at this table.
1 million.
Time extension.
Oh, here we go! The creatively stacked chips in no way
Shit like that and actually having it.
holding Zamani, or holding Vanier back. Makes it $1 million. Let's go. Vanier with the first of many, hopefully, beautiful, aggressive moves. Mike Vanier, 2.1 million in career tournament earnings from Lincoln, Nebraska. He's got a bunch of big second and third place finishes on his resume. Probably hoping to get a big win here inside the studio today. I guess we've set the tone for this final table with that 4-bet. Don't get to see 4-bets all too much at these final tables.
10 seconds.
Donnie, you got a shout out right away in the PokerGO chat from RM Stern saying, I listened to the Gridiron Gamble on my way to the North Shore from Honolulu this morning.
That's right, let's go.
Gridiron Gamble for all your football betting needs.
Yeah, closing in on the end of the season.
Are you guys up this year?
No, I mean, we focus on the contest, the Circus Sports Million contest for the regular season, which
10 seconds.
we did not do all that well in this year. Of course, the kind of the, I don't know, last third of the contest, it's more just trying to find like weird leverage plays, because ultimately you're playing a contest. It's not necessarily straight sports betting. But now playoff time, I think we're doing very well.
And you're just doing the game straight up?
Yeah, just talk about, well, yeah, we'll talk about the games, if we have any leans one way or the other on the side specifically. We'll delve into some props, of course. Props are always the most fun when it becomes Super Bowl time, just because all the different books, you know, they offer all the crazy different
Florida
prop
hoodie?
bets. Some of them are cross sport, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, Knicks. It's in colors.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
All
I
right,
like it.
Zamani making it 150.
you know, I got-
Leonard defending from the big blind. We got
Nick's got my
two
favorite
eights.
player, Mitchell Robinson.
going head-to-head
I
as
like him.
Zamani gets out of line,
Is he even a Nick?
raising it
Yeah.
up with
Yeah,
8-3
last time I got him
offsuit.
back.
Donnie,
He's been,
is this
injured.
what we can expect from Zamani? Relentless aggression,
I think he's the
trying to
last
sort
person to do it,
of
though.
break his opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen it before
changed the
from
rules. He couldn't
Zamani,
do
and
it
we
in high
have
school,
seen him
so he just didn't do
with
shit for a
chip
year.
leads in the past,
He
and
didn't
he's
want to get
just
injured.
he's gonna go,
So instead
man.
of being like a 5th overall pick, he was probably like 18th or something.
Gotcha.
Well, Zamani continues here with a big nothing ball,
Smart.
betting 150.
What?
Yeah,
Let's
he
see if
took a
Leonard
year
finds a
off.
way to continue here
Nothing.
as he
That's
picked
why
up
you
a
like
flush
him?
draw.
I don't know, you could just do
Good big man.
I like him because he's an efficient player. He just plays good defense and doesn't shoot. He just gets offensive rebounds and dunks.
Yeah, Leonard's so
I think
short
that's
here
how
that he might just
Good
people
value.
like him should play it.
want to get this in,
Oh,
run it
here
out. and
we
let's
go. Comes in for the big check raise, leaving himself with very little chips. And off camera here, Zamani with the snap fold. And this is very important as Patrick Leonard, without showdown, manages to chip up in search for his second title here at the PGT kickoff. Feeling a little bit more comfortable now with his stack up to over 1 million chips. Leonard, by the way, the current leader on the PGT.
Got 2 final tables already. One of them was a victory, so maybe he gets number 2.
Yeah.
Shades of David Coleman from
Yep.
last kickoff.
Where is David Coleman?
I believe he said he's going to Disneyland or Disney World.
Isn't this Disneyland?
For poker players, this might as well be Disneyland. Yes.
Shout out to Card Sharp in the chat for the $2 donation. Rooting for Zamani. Colin asking how big was this event? Let me pull that number.
126.
126. Yeah, I had it in front of me, and then
They've all been getting larger, and then of course today's the 10K. So we'll see where that number falls. Hopefully, you know, it continues to get larger.
You
Is it
draw like
cold
5
in the
minutes
studio?
left
I
every
see
time.
Weissman there's got the big Knicks jacket on.
Start with 4 minutes.
I feel like all Knicks fans are probably dead inside, so they need to keep themselves warm.
They're good this year.
Yeah, but they're still sitting on decades of pain and suffering.
Yeah, but at least we got some hope, man.
True.
Or they got some.
I love
600,000.
I love the Knicks. I will say that. I love the Knicks.
I love the NBA, and I love when the Knicks are good.
Yes.
Because then the content is incredible.
The first ever NBA game I went to, I'll never forget this. It was the first game LeBron James played at Madison Square Garden after he joined the Miami Heat.
Well, there you go.
The only thing behind me was the roof of the building. But I was in there.
Yeah, but MSG
It was great.
it's good because it's pretty compact overall. Like even if you're sitting way up top, it's not the absolute worst. I mean, some arenas and stadiums are just brutal.
It was Amari Stoudemire before the Melo trade. So Gallinari was on that team. Man,
Wow.
but time flies, man. It's crazy. But LeBron still plays. I mean, I feel like he might be the only player from that specific game who's still on the floor right now.
King 8 suited here for Zamani. Expect a raise.
10 seconds. Raise 150.
Zamani, King 8 suited, raises it up.
Good discipline.
Soverel throws his cards at him as the fold. I beat the deck, asked if that's pads playing. That's right.
It's in the title and in the thumbnail.
Yeah, he's right there. Look at him. His third final table of this series. He won event number 2. 6th place in event number 1. Hopefully a sign of things to come as it pertains to Patrick Leonard. Would love to see more of him here in the studio on the PGT. For those that follow him on social media, you'll know how much he loves chasing leaderboards. So, I mean, that's one of the big pillars of the PokerGo Tour. So, hopefully we'll see him challenging all season long.
Things are very quiet so far at this final table, so we'll do most of the talking until the action heats up. But I am seeing more and more Pads fans joining us in the chat. Of course, still facing an uphill battle, given his smaller stack, but he was able to drag one in the early goings, which is great. And Blair with the jam. Eric Blair, Donnie, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see him all too often these days on the felt. I mean, he does pop in here and there, play some select events, but, you know, very much used to be a fixture kind of right around when I started getting into the industry, you know, 2008 through 2012/14-ish, like in that little area. Has had some success. Obviously having success here, making this final table, so he still got it. I think that's kind of every poker player's dream in a way, even if they don't want to admit it, but getting to the point where you can play the poker more as a recreational.
Right.
I mean, not that he's a recreational by the standard definition, but you can do it when you want. It doesn't feel forced like a job. Not that, you know, you can do it quite often if it is your job and you love it. But yeah, you just, you know, you want to get to that point where, you know, hey, you know, I don't feel like playing today. I'm not going to play. No big deal.
Soverel will feel like playing this one, ace-5 suited on the button.
Special price for a special person.
Going almost 3x here.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he knows Zamani, the big chip leader, is in the big blind, so he just really wants to deny, like, some sort of cheap continue from Zamani. Jack 6 of diamonds, Zamani deems good enough here. If this was unsuited, maybe he just puts it into the muck, so.
It's funny to describe or talk about the playing style of someone like a Zamani because, of course, it's volatile, it's high risk. There's also high reward, but you first have to give yourself a stack to be able to play that style with, which is kind of interesting also.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when you play that style early from the jump, I mean, you're going to be boom or bust, right? So you're going to either end up with this stack.
Yep.
And be the chip leader coming into the final table, or you just probably don't make the final table. I feel like, and I maybe I'm getting it wrong, and my memory's not serving me correctly, but every time Zamani's at a final table that we cover, he's one of the bigger stacks, if not the biggest stack, which I think goes to just his playing style. You know, that's he gets after it. Spencer Champlin there in the white hoodie. Winner of last year's opening event of Poker Masters. Won a satellite.
Yeah.
560 into the 5K. Wins the 5K. Actually got heads up with the other satellite winner, Jessica Vierling. Pointing that out because on February 10th, there's a satellite in the Aria Poker Room for the first event of the PokerGo Cup. So if 5K is a little bit out of your price point, listen, I'm right there with you, so I'm not talking down to you. You can hop in that $560 satellite on February 10th. Hopefully you win a seed, and then you're in the big dance winning the thing like Spencer Champlin.
Your count, please.
Vanier's going to get a count here.
6, 875, 1.075.
Blair shove here for 17 big blinds. Vanier with the decision to make.
Yeah, I think this is close.
10 seconds.
fold. I mean, I think that's understandable. Oop. Way to go, Eric Blair. Knocking your chips.
Blair happy to get away with that one. Are you surprised that Vanier ultimately folded?
No, I think it's kind of like a toss-up in your head. And also, if you've been playing with Eric Blair, you know, has he been getting out of line at all? Is he getting after it? You know, it can be a lot of player dependency there.
Raise 150.
Zamani staying aggressive here
10 seconds.
on the button.
Time extension.
Fold.
Fold from the blinds. Joey Weissman did think it over there with the ace-3, but did not opt to take the opportunity, and Zamani chips up some more.
Crazy Not Stupid said, Pats is magic. He wears a magic hat. He saw the leaderboard and said, I'm having that. He bluffs him to the left, bluffs him to the right, and when he wins it all, we'll sing his song all night.
I love it.
Should I follow that up with, there's only one?
That's right.
Patrick Leonard.
350.
Raise
Yeah, we need the British rails back.
Humming
Let's go.
along, singing a song, living in a Leonard Wonderland. I can do a shoey.
I mean, Zamani is just
Oh.
no slowdown whatsoever. Look at this.
It is great to watch. And Soverel so far on the receiving end of all this aggression, with a bit of a wry smile, knowing that he has to sort of fall in line against the chip leader. By the way, Zamani's VPIP right now, 58%, to paint the picture of his aggression. Soverel, 38%, but he's had to fold quite a few times versus the aggression of his opponent.
Kind of surprised it's only 58%. I thought it would be like 83 the way he's playing.
And every now and then, the chip leader finds a hand.
10 seconds.
think this is a spot Weissman's not going to want to pass up.
Time extension.
I mean, if he has any sort of idea in the slightest of how Zamani's been playing, then this money's going in.
Weissman, the suited cards on 1.2 million, 20 bigs.
Time extension.
All this tangling is early position, which probably adds a bit to the pondering that Weissman might be doing here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the hand is close, yes. I think you go for it here.
10 seconds.
I mean, I'm also have the benefit of being able to see exactly what Zamani's been up to for the last half hour or so, you know.
And Weissman ultimately decides to fold. Probably some of that due to the chip stacks, but also perhaps a little bit concerned about Blair.
I was hoping you'd shove.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so.
kind of concerned
Big
about
hand.
both.
Ace Jack.
Oh. What'd you have? One better. Better than this check?
That was a chop then. That ace queen.
Still 60.
I don't buy that shit. I think you're folding so fast.
Uh-huh.
You play me a good hand?
I had ace queen.
I don't
What
believe
were your suits?
I have no fucking idea.
Only 60.
Still 30-60. One hand.
I wasn't hoping you would shove until the second time thing. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready.
I think you just thought he was scared money.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He's got you fooled with that fake Rolex.
Last hand, brother.
I didn't mean to abuse you. I'm sorry. Probably should not have opened that hand.
Eric Blair, thinking back of why he raised. Teddy in the chat saying, why are we opening that weak hand
10 seconds.
with an aggressive chip leader to our direct left? Hey man, asking all the right questions, but sometimes early position, the only way to steal when players around you are aggressive, but this time ended up backfiring, costing him some chips. Zamani, meanwhile, has extended his chip lead, adding 265,000 chips to his total. Small blind battle on our hands here. By the way, if you're catching us on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
Near level.
Alright guys, 40, 80, 80.
Lead you that time. I don't know why.
Good read. I
I don't know.
had ace queen.
I mean, if you had ace queen, I wish I shoved.
You could see how excited I was. I finally had ace queen.
Monster.
Jumping out of my seat.
Spencer Champlin has raised twice before. Finds ace-4 suited. Perhaps
10 seconds.
thinking of a shove here on 10 big blinds.
500,000.
Raise to 500,000.
Champlin instead makes it 500K, gets it through.
You have 1.1? 1.1?
1-2.
1, 2.
Action full Souvenir, who finds 2 red 10s.
Hi.
10 seconds. Raise to 200.
Makes it to 200K as the blinds have gone up to 40K, 80K, so removing some play. Oh, look who's there. Chino Ream sighting. He didn't even say anything. He just popped in and popped out.
Surprised he didn't say anything. He's good friends with Sam Soverel, so he also plays a lot in cash games with Patrick Leonard over there. So
7-7-9 on the flop here. Vanier's 10s. Pretty comfortable here.
I think we're all rooting for one of those 10s. Action card for sure.
That would be the definition of an action card.
That's 150.
150 is the bet.
Zamani might have some creative designs here. I mean, he is kind of like weirdly wrapped around this sort of texture. He can certainly have 7s in his range, and he does come with an attack, 350. Looks like calling chips. Yep, here we go.
Okay, so Zamani with a game plan as always. Do you think he's looking to continue on any scary looking card here?
He might just continue on a lot of cards. And me saying that he might just continue to try and rep a 7. This is one of those cards that I think, you know, he can still represent. You know, he can have hands like 6-8 in his range. He's got an 8 as it is. And he's going to continue.
10 seconds.
375.
Now, as Vanier, are we concerned only about the prospects of perhaps a 7 that Zamani could be holding? Are we thinking maybe 9s? Are we thinking this is bullshit and I'm just going to call this down no matter what?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of bullshit in there for Zamani. I mean, he can have 6-8, yes, and he can have 7s. You know, those are the hands that obviously beat you. But he can have a lot of stuff that is just total airball, like he has.
Oh,
hello!
Oh my God! The action card that Donnie predicted falls on the river as the 10 completes the board. Vanier fills up with a full house. Zamani got to be thinking, oh, baby, I've lucked out on this one.
And he might go for it all. Look at the stack to pot ratio, effective stack size.
That's 2 million.
And a bet of 2 million has been announced.
So what's interesting here is that what I expect Vanier is going to go all in. I mean, it's almost like Zamani's hand should never be good.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Vanier using up some time in an attempt to look weak.
love how Soverel and Leonard are studying.
Fuck, I knew this was gonna happen.
I mean, Zamani's probably
Such a
going to
weird
call.
deja vu about
I mean,
this hand.
his hand should never be good.
Makes the call.
I know, man. I know.
Zamani visibly distraught about the way this hand played out. Vanier with a full double up to 6.7 million. Takes a massive chip lead, knocking Zamani down to 2.4. Absolutely massive pot here, as we are still 7-handed at this final table.
Zamani thinking, get me out of here. I know I got 2.4 million, but get me out of here, man.
So do you think, given Zamani's reaction, that his plan was always to come firing 3 streets? Like, even if the 10 doesn't pop?
Most likely, yeah. I mean, I think he was just going to
Yeah, you
continue
did
to
say
tell
it.
that
Was
story.
weird. This is
And I mean, let's say 3 rolls off on the river. I mean, he
That
comes
thing
with
was
2 million.
really
I mean,
No.
you're playing a guessing game there with 10s, right? I mean, it's hard. So
Absolutely.
he's certainly going to put his opponent to the test. I think Zamani is definitely somebody who's not going to back down from taking those spots. We have seen it plenty before from him. So, I mean, it's just ultimately a brutal river card. What are you going to do? Because I think it works a very large percentage of the time. That said, you know, I'm not as familiar with Vanier. Maybe he finds the call with 2 10s. Should have bricked off, you know. So I don't know.
That would have been equally exciting if Zamani basically
that would've been sick.
jams a river and then Vanier pulls off the hero call. Corey in the chat says, I just tuned in. Crazy first hand to witness. Yeah, Corey, don't go anywhere. Stick around. We got lots more big all-ins to come here as we will show you this entire final table down to a winner. Draws says, Vanier, the Adamo of Oklahoma. That is a terrific nickname.
I thought it was from Nebraska.
That makes it even funnier. We're not even from there, okay?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's Nebraska on his hat.
The Adamo of Nebraska. I stand corrected.
10 seconds.
Vanier continues with the hot streak, finds a beautiful looking ace queen of diamonds.
You owe 1 last time. 10 seconds.
Notice how immediately things shift.
Yep.
Vanier is now the big stack. Zamani is knocked back into, you know, kind of bunched in with some of the other players in the pack. Maybe he 3-bets that king 10 off there, you know, leveraging one of the rocker properties, that sort of thing. But they're just a quick fold, different situation now.
All right, we got a new man in charge, and if you want to try to be in charge yourself, you should join the tribe, grow the game, and pursue mastery over at octopipoker.ai. It's the most accessible poker study platform for all skill levels, and if you sign up right now and become a paying member, you'll be entered into a raffle that might seat you into Event 1 of the 2025 Poker Masters, in which Spencer Champlin is the defending champ. Leonard remaining patient. Vanier not even done stacking his chips, considering getting involved again.
They're a bit more messy now.
Yes.
They're all over the place. You think he's got OCD and it's like freaking him out?
It's freaking me out, Donnie.
Well, Zamani's gonna be playing this one. It's just a matter of how.
Zamani on 29 bigs. And by the way, still basically second in chips, tied with Soverel. The vibes will just be quite a bit different. Zamani just making the call on the button. Let's see if Vanier has any aggressive thoughts if he whiffs this flop. I'm curious to see if he's going to try and pressure Zamani in the same way it has been done to him in the past, and we see Queen Jack Jack on the flop. Is that a flop for Vanier to continue on?
I think he could continue here. I think generally it's hard to continue out of position in a lot of spots, but here, 2 broadways, pair,
That's 200.
he is going to continue. You know, I think Zamani, the way that he plays his hand here, he's going to have a fair amount of weight to 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, you know, those specific hands. I think he can also have, you know, some, I mean, Queen Jack suited, King Queen, stuff like that. But then again, maybe he 3-bets those being in position. Does come along.
Check.
Vanier decides to slow down on the turn. Now, if you have a showdown type hand like 8s, are you more comfortable generally to try to take this to showdown, or do you in a way have to protect your hand on a turn like this?
I think there could be some protection he applies here, and also has that 8 of spades. I think also just checking back is fine too. I mean, it's one of those spots where you're probably going to be doing a little bit of both.
Well, after the recent 6.7 million chip showdown, I'm sure we'll hear Zamani again right now.
Zamani hates that card. I like how he always kind of just chuckles,
Good game, guys.
you know, like, but also like he's over it in a way. He's just like, you got to be kidding me, really? Like, come on.
He's about to ask for a table change. All right, so Vanier unstoppable as of right now, up to 7.5 million. Quite an insane chip lead. Half the chips in play with 7 players remaining. Everyone else seemingly playing for second. We've seen this storyline play out over the last few final tables. Masato was in this spot. Lichtenberger was in this spot. Ultimately, Masato in particular went through quite a few big swings before ultimately coming out on top. But Vanier right now has to be a huge betting favorite here to take this thing down. And if he manages to do so, it would be his biggest outright win. He's got some bigger cashes, but those were 2nd and 3rd place finishes.
All in.
Fine.
Soverel raising with ace deuce, and Zamani
2 million.
pedal to the metal
Yeah,
with
he's
6s.
He's had enough. He's had enough.
It's definitely looking like that.
I mean, this is going to work, but he's also had enough.
It's fun. It's funny how every single time the aggression has worked, it has been against Soverel.
Can't
Yeah,
believe I didn't
yeah.
bust that hand.
All right, so we maintain 7-handed. If you're just tuning in, you haven't missed a thing yet. If you are on YouTube, please smash that like button. Let's get us up to 200 likes. Just help to spread the word of this stream. Make sure the YouTube algorithm catches up, or catches onto it, I should say. Blair finds pocket 5s. Donnie, how much are players taking into account the quote-unquote Zamani tilt right now?
I mean, probably not a whole ton. I mean, probably to some degree, yes, but
And I'm more so saying this, you know, when you find a hand that's on the edge of you wanting to raise, perhaps you don't want to get shoved on, and you know that Zamani's got his finger on the trigger right now.
yeah, I would probably just lean that. I think Zamani has his finger on the trigger always. I mean, we've already seen plenty of times when he was 3-betting earlier, you know, so even then when he had the chip lead, you know, and things were going well for him, I should say, not necessarily chip lead, things were going positively for him. You do always have to think about, okay, if I come in here, what's he going to do specifically? You know, yeah, you have to think about everyone in general, but he's been the most active, the most aggressive player at the table, somebody who's always really willing to fight back. Now it's just that the way he fights back is going to have some sort of shift at times, like we just saw, where it wasn't just a 3-bet, you know, against Soverel, it was a 3-bet jam, right? So it might not just be like you're going from 125 to 350 or whatever the number is. You're going from, you know, 160 or 175 up to all of it. So just got to be prepared and adjust accordingly.
Action folds around to Vanier in the small blind. Glancing over at Soverel's stack. Probably full well realizing that this is his chance to pounce and get a little out of line.
275.
It's hard for Soverel to have much resistance, especially given the surrounding stack sizes.
10 seconds.
Yes, I think Soverel could peel here, yeah.
So Soverel is going to defend his big blind. Even though he started the hand with 28 bigs, he's rather comfortable, but you don't want to get into a marginal situation with so many short stacks still below you. Would you encourage Vanier to just be aggressive, sort of
225.
in a relentless kind of way, to put whoever it is to the test?
Yeah, and I think on this hand specifically, he started out approaching it that way, just coming in here with the 10 deuce off, not opting to limp this. Certainly want to give it, certainly don't want to give your opponent a walk. So as the chip leader, you can just raise a trash hand like this as opposing to limp it, because that's really not going to flop that well. And then he's probably just going to continue on a large variety of flops. I think this hand, and then the hand when he raised earlier and it came Queen Jack Jack against Zamani, he also continued there. So far, I'm just going to assume that he's going to be c-betting quite a lot on a lot of different textures.
Wow. And do you love this?
I mean, he's going for it. Well, I mean, this turn card is certainly something that he can continue to tell his story with, right? I mean, he could have an ace, yeah. He could have the ace of hearts. I mean, this is a tough spot now for Soverel. Soverel knows 1.7 behind. I mean, this is just under a third of his stack, so it's going to be a healthy portion if he wants to continue. And then you have to think ahead, what could possibly come on the river? Are there really any good cards? I have kind of a static hand that's just not going to ever really improve.
Well, I'm all of a sudden becoming a big fan of Mike Vanier, who is in control at this final table. The man from Lincoln, Nebraska, is putting the pedal to the metal, making everyone else around him suffer. And you can tell by the facial expressions that most players are just hoping for something to go their way at this point. 22 hands into this final table. You haven't missed an elimination yet, but I promise you they are on the horizon, given the size of these blinds.
They've been coming in bunches.
Yes.
You know, it's like kind of just hang around, play some pots, and then boom, boom, boom. It's like 3 in a row. So don't go anywhere.
Patrick Leonard, by the way, now back down below 10 big blinds. He is the short stack.
Ace 200.
Here comes Zamani under the gun.
Weissman on a million chips. Look down at ace-3 of spades.
Yeah, this early in position, just not, I don't think that that's good enough. Ace-queen, though, for somebody who's just above 10 big blinds.
10 seconds.
I think we're going to see Champlin getting involved here.
700,000.
There it is.
700.
Raises the 700,000, leaving himself with 125 behind.
Seconds.
Action folding around through the blinds. Zamani with the quick toss as well, and Champlin gets to take this one down.
Martin, you want to do it last longer?
I'll do last shorter.
Soverel picking up on the tilt perhaps a little
actually
bit,
do that.
proposing a
Last
last
shorter?
longer.
Yeah.
All right, how much?
1,000.
Come on, it's got to be more than that.
I mean, maybe other people will give you action.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of folding to me.
I meant on our bet.
You do 1,000 with everybody, then you have 6K.
Then you can really fucking fire it off.
It's the pay jump, literally.
10 seconds.
Yeah, shouldn't the last shorter always be for the size of the pay jump?
I mean, close to it, I would guess.
Or like slightly more than the pay jump?
Well, that would just be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. The current pay jump, basically $6,000. What if you made it a 10K last shorter, and then you're just going to be firing it in?
King 9 suited.
Mamma mia.
King 9?
Suited.
Vanier over there is going to work on his chip stack. It's starting to look nice and tidy.
Yeah, you spent 3 orbits slowly reorganizing everything.
Couple of jacks here for Champlin under the gun.
Champlin has been getting dealt some good hands. Let's see if we can make something out of these jacks.
160.
Steph is asking, can someone find out where Pad's got these shades? I'm actually wondering the same thing.
You gotta ask him.
I'm just going to use AI, take a photo of Pad's, and then put it in the old Google machine. Actually folds around to Zamani, who has ace-3 suited in the small blind.
10 seconds.
The last shorter is not in effect.
Time extension.
Time extension being used. Zamani seems pained by having to let this one go.
10 seconds.
Weissman now, ace-7. Similar spot for him, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean,
Are we
Probably
going
a
on,
little bit
are we
less
going
of a
on an adventure
decision
that hand?
Alright guys, I didn't know the block of hands.
Zamani fighting the temptation there.
Those diamonds.
Yeah.
Four hands.
Does that count as like half right? Because you got the suit right, a quarter right.
If it was like Queen 8, then yeah. But if
That's what I thought it was.
it was King 4, then no.
No, it was closer to King 4 than Jack 9.
10-5. It's interesting.
I used to always punt it with 10-5. I don't know why.
The golf font,
Yeah, really.
you know, always blocks a straight.
Yeah.
Every straight has a 10-5 in it.
But then there wouldn't be a possible straight on board, and I would still bluff.
Once you're in, you're in.
Leonard and ace-deuce hasn't found a good way to get in there.
10 seconds.
King Jack. That's
Better.
there. Ooh, King Queen.
Time extension.
Are we getting short enough to where this is a shove?
Yeah, I mean, Trying to think how he would possibly build out a raise folding range, or if this is ultimately just going to be too good or too bad. Early position, it kind of does stink. Soverel has a bit more flexibility, so he's going to be in there raising.
After 4 hands, we take the break, right?
Action folds around to Champlin, who's five's in the big blind.
10 seconds.
Just got to call 80K more to see a flop here.
All in.
And he goes all in, comes with the reshove, and Sam Soverel has just been like backed into a corner almost.
Every time he gets into a pot,
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
somebody
Thinking
just
about
comes
it.
at him.
It's crazy.
I'm blinding off.
Saw your post in the group yesterday. You said button is jamming 80%.
What are you talking about?
Shut up, man. All in. You know what I'm talking about. Your group post
Oh,
in Telegram.
80%. What's 80? What did I fold?
Hmm?
What are you talking about? Which hand did I have?
When
What did
the
I
queen
have?
was exposed.
Oh yeah.
You're like button was showing 80%. Come on.
You 90?
At least.
But you're gonna have a queen sometimes too. So now it's like 7% gone.
10 seconds.
Leonard and Zamani involved in some
I've had
strat
this
talk
9 times today.
mid-hand. And I'm pleased to announce that Mike Vanier has reorganized his chips in a way
Yeah,
that
when
they
I
look
open-
like a piece of art.
No,
Pure dust, I think. This time?
No. I do queen 10 off.
I think I
could still-
opened like a really like 8-3-0.
Yeah, maybe I should just go there. I don't know.
Blinds are going up shortly.
Same hand
to
I opened your
50K,
big blind with earlier.
100K.
Oh, I was trapping you.
I believe you.
9s.
8-3-0, just call, man. I was dead. Look it up later.
Blair finds King 9, also ends up in the muck. Lots of caution around the table.
Weissman here with the decision, ace 9 off.
Seconds. Time extension. Raise the button.
Puts 5 of his 805 in. No action.
Is that your first one? You're on the board.
I'm on the board.
What, last hand now?
Fantastic.
One more.
You know, it's about to be break, and they're gonna show like the DPIPs or like, your
Yeah, it's gonna be
say
embarrassing.
Pops 1,
It's gonna
0.
be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Have you won?
Does it actually
Have you won
show
one
that?
yet?
Hmm?
Have you won one yet?
A pot?
Yeah.
I think one.
Definitely beat me in a pot.
You won a couple.
Not really though.
What?
All right, Blair, king jack off, under the gun. Just a matter of time.
10 seconds.
Is this last hand?
Blinds will go up after this hand.
It's a color up.
Okay, thank you.
Leonard not getting fancy here on the button, remaining patient. Gives me some time to steal those glasses there off the table.
Mullen.
Vanier just comes with a jam, applies pressure on Soverel, who gets out of the way. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back in about 30 seconds for the continuation of this final table. See you in a bit.
Poker, a game of infinite complexity. How simple can we make it? Every hand I play is a teacher, each emotion a guide. Our experience and technological innovation will help you unlock your game's potential. Octopi Poker. Pursue mastery.
Want to play online poker for free? With PokerGO, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PokerGO lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PokerGO on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
As promised, short commercials. We are back. Patrick Leonard on 5 big blinds as we go into 50K, 100K. He's going to need to make something happen as Michael Vanier is the champion of the first 2 levels, sitting comfortably on 50% of the remaining chips.
With this newfound information.
10 seconds.
250.
Zamani makes it 250 with king jack off. Nothing left to be done here for Leonard other than being patient.
Yeah, like a brown TJ Cloutier. You know that?
It's okay for some years.
Bollywood TJ Cloutier. Is he still alive?
Yeah,
Really?
he's in Texas.
No way. He still plays?
Uh-huh. He's like a game starter.
Like he works for the house?
Yeah.
Of course, Martin
That's
Zamani would know about the TJ Cloutier whereabouts. Of course. Do you think Sam Soverel has been watching our WSB Classic episodes? Because TJ Cloutier was featured in 2 of them this week.
No.
Mullen.
Vanier coming with the aggression.
Okay.
And Blair happy to call it off. Same hand though, but at least he's suited.
It's right there.
Pocket 4s end up in the muck, and we're going to see our next all-in showdown.
Yeah.
Both players with ace-jack.
Is it too late?
Zamani wants his hand back.
Well, let's see if Zamani could have taken this one down with pocket 4s. Here comes the flop. Queen, 8-9, 1 spade.
Both of you have a spot.
Running spades would be the only way for Blair to win this, but running clubs would be the way for Vanier. But the turn ends those prospects, and both players get their chips back. By the way, shout out to everyone who is watching right now, both on YouTube and PokerGo. If you're with us on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to our channel. Do all that good stuff until we reach 500 likes. That'd be awesome. Boris in the chat says, shortest break ever. Yes, we start on a longer delay so we can trim out some of the breaks so you guys at home don't have to give in to your constant need to swipe reels and TikToks. And you can just stay locked in on the content here. All right, Patrick Leonard on the short stack, 5 bigs, Jack 10 off. Is this going to be the hand? And I guess it will be, as Leonard puts forward all but 2 of his remaining chips.
10s again.
Oh boy. Vanier doing what chip leaders do,
10 seconds.
catching cards at the right time. And he moves all in over the top, applying that pressure on everyone else to get Leonard heads up. And Leonard will take off the glasses to see the bad news. Jack 10 versus 10s. But at least he has some prospects. Still 34%. Leonard looking for quite a bit of help. Let's see if the former number 1 online poker player can find a way to escape, but ace 7 9 all spades is not helping him much.
In my head, it's going to be hard to be dead by the turn, but
Spade.
that's being too optimistic.
Turn is a 3 of hearts. Leonard not dead yet, but he only has 2 outs. As you can see, some of those have been folded at the top of your screen. Jack of hearts, 8 of clubs, or else pads will hit the rail. River card is the 7 of diamonds, and that will do it. Pads could not mount a comeback off the short stack. Michael Vanier continues to crush at this final table as we are down to the final 6. Leonard will take home $25,200, and we'll see him again in the season finale 10K that gets underway here in the studio right now. A look at the updated counts. Eyes are now shifting, or our attention is shifting to Weissman and Blair, who are both below 10 big blinds. Donnie, how many eliminations will we see in this level?
2.
2 more, or 1 more?
2 more.
2 more, okay. So the next 25 minutes, if Donnie's word is any good,
That's usually highly questionable.
we'll see 2 more eliminations.
So, you know, you say, I mean, I know it's on the bio sheet, former number 1 online player, but if they killed the rankings,
right?
Like,
oh, they stopped doing it.
Yeah, like I mean, Pocket Fives no longer exists. It's now
Right.
Poker Stake, and there's no online poker ranking. So, is the person who was number 1 at the time of the killing forever the number 1 online ranked poker player?
I guess he is.
10 seconds.
Shout out Pocket Fives. I miss you. Oh, look at that. Soverel won a pot, if you can believe it.
Wow. Someone called the local newspaper. Put that on the front page.
That finish from pads, you guys heard Remko say that he picked up 50 PGT points. He's up to 342 on the season. He's got 1 win. He's got 3 final tables. $171,000 in earnings so far this season. It's very early, of course, but Leonard is the front runner. As we see Zamani move all in here. Ace, queen off.
Weissman on 7 bigs has not been able to get much going at all. His VPIP only 3%. has not won a hand at Showdown either. He's down to about half of what he started with today.
Time extension.
Weissman's had several decision points. Probably the one he would want back the most is that ace-queen suited, but
Right.
you know, here I think an ace-8 off is a fine fold there.
Another good fold.
Yeah.
Same hand.
Makes sense.
This tournament's gonna go so fast next level.
Because it's the level of death, Sam. Come on, man.
Is that good?
It's fast.
It's crazy not to go to 125.
Because I could use all these time chips. We'll make it there.
We'll talk,
You
we'll
might not
talk
have to
to
do
Tim.
much thinking at that level, man.
We'll talk to Timmy.
Right now, I'm the big trying to remember all the charts.
I mean, I would be fine to skip like the 3-6 level.
Zamani makes it 225 with Jack 9 of spades. It's funny how Zamani lost his chip lead. Vanier keeps crushing, and Zamani
just
somehow
skip 25
comfortably
five
back into
one
second
time.
place.
Yeah, that would do it too.
Simple.
Especially
Or, like,
because
start at 1K, 2K maybe.
But it feels too.
Soverel's getting bullied.
I don't know. The level being skipped feels like almost too premeditated. Like I don't know. It's not like an oversight. It seems very intentional. You know what I mean?
Weissman now perhaps finally finding a spot where he can get first in off the short stack with ace-8 offsuit.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Weissman gets involved here, putting in more than half his stack in the middle. It's up to the blinds now. Nothing for Soverel. Let's see if Blair finds something. Ooh, and he has king-queen. Okay. Perhaps a decision here, and he quickly moves all in. Weissman is going to make the call, and he's going to be the one at risk with the better hand. Ace-8 versus king-queen. Joey Weissman has not had a good day here at the final table. Let's see if he can find a double up here. Weissman finished 4th in event number 2 here. Let's see if he can improve upon that, but he first needs to survive this one. But this is looking very bleak as Blair flops a queen. Weissman looking for an ace and an ace only to survive here. King of clubs is not going to make a difference either.
Good luck, guys.
River brings the 9 as Blair had his opponent drawing dead on the turn by making 2 pair. Joey Weissman collecting $31,500 for his 6th place finish. Blair now up to 1.7 million.
Not a bad start to the season for Weissman. 4th place earlier in event number 2, so a couple of deep runs here. I'm sure we'll see plenty of Joey Weissman.
Let's look at the leaderboard here. Soverel and Champlin tied at the bottom of the counts. Zamani comfortably in 2nd, but of course, everyone here looking up at Michael Vanier.
He's been a relatively quiet chip leader. You know, once he
very quiet.
he got the chip lead. You know, I think he won a hand or two after, and then he's been pretty selective since. I know he did bust Patrick Leonard when he picked up those 10s versus Pads' Jack 10, but other than that, you know, hasn't gotten too involved.
Vanier just coming with the hammer.
Yeah, as I say that, he's just, I'm all in. Let's go.
I mean, is Soverel supposed to call here?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
I guess he's shaking his head because he realizes the same thing you just said, Donnie. Soverel makes the call, is well out in front.
I think I had 10-4.
And giving Soverel a 3 million chip stack is probably the worst case scenario for Vanier, given Soverel's depth of knowledge and experience.
It's also right on your left.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know.
Well, Vanier still has a chance to get lucky here.
Oh, the prepay. I don't know about that, man.
All right, here comes the flop. Oh, the 4 is there in the middle.
It's a prepay.
Disgust on the face of Soverel, who's looking for a 10 to survive. We saw the 10 of hearts already get folded. Turn card, 8 of clubs. Soverel down to just 2 outs. If this holds up, we'll quickly be down to the final 4. River is the 3 of hearts. See you later, Sam Soverel. Takes home 37,800 and perhaps some leftover lunch there. But what a run. All of a sudden, Vanier at 10 million chips, 64%. Donnie, is there any chance this guy doesn't win it?
I mean, when you're hot, you're hot. And no one is as hot as Michael Vanier. I mean, look at that chip.
So
Good
insane.
Lord. I did say 2 eliminations this
Yeah,
level. We
you're-
got 2. Weissman and Soverel out the door.
We're at the cap right now. We're at the cap.
I mean, things are getting very interesting. Let's see if Vanier continues to apply the pressure that we saw on the last hand. He just open jammed it. I would expect him to now, you know, really, really, really press on the gas. That said, 3 deuce off. Maybe not. Maybe take that one off.
I swallowed it with a 4K or something.
All in.
Zamani moves all in with ace queen.
Bolts.
I get ace queen a lot.
Wow.
Had 3 times today at least.
It's gonna be funny if we look back on stream and I didn't have either of those cards. It just were too high. I got confused.
How often has that happened?
More than 0%.
More than 0.
Yeah.
More than 0. Okay. Aces.
Oh.
Let's go.
Aces for Blair.
200.
Blair's got some raising chips. Makes it 200K. Of course, hoping that Vanier of all players finds something playable here.
Yeah, I mean, Vanier will probably come along with quite a bit of hands. I know it is somewhat alarming when your opponent is just min-raising. He puts a 6 off in the book. There you go. Blair's like, come on, man. Flashes the aces.
I'll get you in.
All eyes on Spencer Champlin, just over 10 bigs for him, so
I mean,
keep
it's
an
just
eye on his stack.
it's just a question of who gets to go heads up against Vanier, let's be honest.
Of course.
Champlin 4-3 off. Probably live to fight another day here.
On.
And there he goes again.
10 seconds.
And Blair snaps it off with ace-9. Vanier with queen-deuce very much live. But perhaps Blair able to put a little dent in the armor, so to say.
I think I had queen 6.
Blair 59% to double up here. 3.7 million in the middle. Here comes the flop. And a queen in the window. The Vanier train is just not slowing down as Eric Blair now looks to find an ace and an ace only to survive here. He's got some backdoor draws available, but it's pretty thin. Well, the Jack of Hearts does open that up for him. Blair now with 7 outs to survive. Vanier looking to reduce this field to just 3 players as he is seemingly unstoppable. And the 7 secures the bust out. Eric Blair eliminated in 4th place, collecting $53,550. And Mike Vanier is running out of room to stack all of those chips. He is just shy of 12 million as we are 3-handed.
This chip lead is tremendous.
Kind of,
Incredible.
Kind of blew it.
It happens.
I had 5 seconds to think, and I didn't know the pot size, so I just said the words.
It happens.
And he had it.
I understand.
Just a big blind.
Surely we've all been there.
Just big blind?
10 seconds.
You want to sweat it with me, Spencer? Okay, you can't sweat it.
Both Zamani and Champlin probably now expecting Vanier to just jam every single hand. All right, interesting battle lies ahead. If you're on YouTube with us, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. We're in the closing stages of this event, and if it's up to Mike Vanier, this thing will be over in the next 2 hands.
Want to sweat it?
Yeah.
So Zamani jams. They sweat it together. Ace Jack for Champlin, and we're off. Here we go.
Zamani taking a stab at Champlin, trying to get the heads-up play, but unfortunately for him, he runs into a real hand. Zamani needs some help here.
Still plenty of equity, 36%.
It was.
Here's the flop. King, queen, queen. That is in Champlin's wheelhouse.
The turn of the river.
River for sure.
Zamani looking for a 9 or a 7 to send Champlin to the rail.
Give him a 10 for a sweat.
Turn is the ace of hearts, and that will do it.
50.
Champlin receives a full double up.
975.
Zamani now the short stack.
Good hand.
Thanks.
We might not even get to the level of death with the way this thing's going.
At this rate, every other hand is an all-in. So if you like coin flips, you better stick around.
Well, here we go again. King, queen off for Zamani.
1675.
Well, it's not going to be Champlin, that's for sure.
Yeah, it could be even.
Oh, Vanier, queen jack suited. Yeah, comes with the call. 16 big blind shove. Called it off with queen jack.
10 seconds.
I know you're dominating if you're Zamani, but how can you feel good with the way the Vanier train's been coming down the tracks?
Oh,
man?
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. He is absolutely not showing any signs of slowing down.
Good idea.
Preview.
Oh, he did the prepay again.
Here comes the flop. King 7-8, about as safe as it gets for Zamani as he looks to get back up to 3.5 million. Vanier might lose his first hand in what feels like an hour and a half. Turn card, ace of clubs. Now we got some options again. 4 10s available to Vanier. He's got a little smile on his face. He knows he's been fortunate. Sometimes when it's your day, it's just your day.
It was a 10 on the river before against Zamani.
River card is the 9 of spades.
Close.
And now Zamani gets to double up. Okay, we're about a double up away from a real match here.
Flesh wound to our chip leader over there. He's still plenty healthy. Over 10 million.
Be honest, I won't be offended. Were you rooting for me or against me?
I thought he was going to win. I wasn't rooting, but
It's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Champlin knows.
it's the way he's been hitting some cards in all-ins.
Yeah. It's a little more exciting now.
All of a sudden, the game not as shallow. Champlin on 20 big, Zamani on 35, so we got some room to play again, as Vanier graciously has allowed Zamani to stay in the game.
10 seconds.
350,000.
We're actually going to see some post-flop play here. Raise from Vanier, call from Zamani. Interesting one here. You know, Vanier was telling that story as the pre-flop raiser from the small blind, so could see him continue here on an ace-high board like this. Zamani connected second pair. He's got the gutter to the wheel. Can't imagine he's going anywhere for this price. He's going to hit him with a raise. Vanier is out of the way, and more chips for Zamani. He's fighting back nicely here. Got that double up, now wins this one. He's up over 4 million. Vanier back below 10 million for the first time in a while, it seems like.
All right, it's a three-handed match here as these players look to collect some points in the race for the PGT Championship. Please make sure to head on over to pgt.com/dream-seat for exclusive Dream Seat opportunities for you, the fan, the viewer, because there's a chance we will see you in the $1 Million free roll at the end of the year. While these players are all fighting for the points, you can just try and qualify for the free roll 3 different ways. Double points up for grabs at this final table as well. Any player who wins an event here at the kickoff will be in a great position to get into that top 40.
One night.
Yeah, 315 up top in this one alone. So
I understand.
Going to be in a great spot here early in the season.
10 seconds.
And then a couple weeks off. We'll be doing again soon. PokerGO Cup is right around the corner. February 11th through 20th.
10 seconds.
They're bringing back the bonus, boys.
Time extension.
Zamani 275, Champlin in the tank. How often are we reshoving the King 6?
Maybe sometimes it might just not be good enough. I don't really know if you want to call this in position. I don't think it plays that well.
575.
Nicely done here on the non-all-in 3-bet from Champlin.
10 seconds.
A little bit of a smile and a laugh from Zamani. I mean, I don't think he can really do much here. There it is, into the muck.
Good bluff, Spencer.
Thanks.
Queen 6.
No.
Close.
What do you say?
Queen 6.
Playing 3 hands.
Looks like the level of death is upon us.
Be there in 3 hands. Let's go.
Just a shove, probably. I don't know. I decided on.
No. 3 more hands.
Ooh, couple of 5s.
10 seconds.
What's Zamani's incentive here to limp the button?
I mean, I don't think he wants to get 3-bet here. Kind of just wants to ensure that he can see a flop cheaply, play it cheaply in position ultimately with the button.
400.
Time extension.
400.
Now, how do we respond to this aggression that we, can see coming from time to time?
Well, I think once you start with
Got
the
anything,
limp,
Spencer?
the plan is to just limp call here. Not much there for Zamani. I mean, he's got a backdoor spade, but that's it.
Yeah, ace-8 jack, definitely in Champlin's wheelhouse. Whether you can see his cards or not, that is definitely favoring the pre-flop aggressor.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess that Zamani has a lot of hands that connect pretty nicely there that he's limping in. Pretty easy
Would you
bet
call
and win
this out?
there from Champlin. Couple
3.
pots his way against Zamani, and now he's chipping up.
So
They're kind
confusing.
of like weirdly deep right now. They were pretty short a little while ago when Vanier had up over 12
What are you
million, but
confused
now
about?
that Champlin and Zamani
I
have kind
don't
of
know how
chipped
to
up.
play, really.
Champlin's the shortest
doing
stack,
right.
but he's still got just under 29 bigs. I know the blinds are about to go up, but there's a fair amount of play
I had a pair
among these stacks.
to start the hand. Can you believe that?
Wow, wow, wow.
A whole pair.
Seconds.
Wow, my first walk. How kind of you, Mike.
10 seconds.
All right.
Vanier tries to see a cheap flop. Zamani finds a monster. Ace-king suited makes it 425. And are you surprised to see Vanier get involved here for 425 with 10-8?
10-8 off. I mean, I could see him just putting this in the bin right away, but probably does all right, and he can afford it.
Look at this. Gotta love how Vanier is just going for it. And
snap raise.
Zamani with the snap raise to 900,000.
The way in which he did it, I mean, it's just like.
But what would motivate him?
That was like, you know what that was like when I say to my daughter, "Hey, can you pass me those toys?" She just double fisted throws them across the table.
Oh man, what do you think motivates Zamani to make that raise on the turn?
What do you need?
I mean,
Mike?
I think he's just like, I mean, F this guy. Like, I mean, you know, like what? You're the big chip leader. Now you're just leading the turn. Like, no, like, raise.
And now Vanier comes with a check. Zamani gives up. Vanier shows the 10-8, and Zamani knocked down further, sitting on 2 million. Vanier back up to almost 11 million.
Last hand.
10 seconds.
All in. All in.
All right, we have a 75, 150, 150.
Blinds are now up. Tournament director Allen announces 75-150. Shout out to those in the chat with us. Appreciate you all for hanging out. And please know that you can join PokerGo's newest plan. Become a VIP right now and get the annual subscription plus access to Run At Once training content with PokerU. Watch and learn like never before. Join or upgrade today at PokerGo.com to learn from the likes of Jason Kuhn, Phil Galfond, and Dan Jungleman Cates.
All in.
All in.
Champlin with the shove. Holding A7.
At least you didn't shove pre.
Hmm?
At least you didn't shove pre. You would have fucked me up.
Champlin holding his own here at this final table. Playing a very solid game. He's off to a hot start in 2025. As I mentioned before, finished second in the Lucky Hearts Poker Open for $425K just a week ago. Ace 10 deuce all spades. Zamani with the better spade in this situation.
150. Check.
Action gets checked to the river after a 150K flop bet from Zamani. Jack high is going to be good here if this goes to showdown. Zamani now faced with a bet of 350K. Seems as though he doesn't trust it.
This one seems a little too thin, even for me.
Still very hard to find a call here with Jack high.
Time extension.
Looks like Zamani has accidentally blocked his microphone, so he couldn't really pick up what he was saying, but I think his instincts were right, but ultimately sanity took over.
10 seconds.
All in.
All in.
There's the jam,
Inside the
ace
five.
8. And that's going to work. Shake of the head.
All right, so the action has slowed down a little bit. Zamani on 13 bigs, Champlin on 17. Vanier still the big favorite. Having a little bit of a look at the chat. Some people commenting on Vanier's table presence. Donnie not saying a word, covered by both his hoodie, his sunglasses, and people saying that, you know, it's not the right way to be at the poker table as we see Zamani
Says who?
shove from the button. But isn't it kind of just up to the player to
Do
be
whatever you want.
as comfortable as you want to be in a big situation like this?
In a tournament setting, I think you can do whatever you want. In a cash game setting, I would lean to encourage people that they want to be a bit more colorful for two reasons. One, if you're in some sort of like private cash game setting, that's kind of what gets you invited back when you're fun. If you're in a casino or whatnot, it's good to seem like you're fun, seem like you're giving off action, and then maybe you get paid off when you have those aces, right?
Pretend you're a fun person just for a while.
You know, but in a tournament, it's just it's a different atmosphere.
10 seconds.
I mean, it's not like Champlin's over there talking up a storm.
True.
I mean, he's got a hoodie on too.
10 seconds.
All in.
He's calling this one. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Zamani shoves at a6. Vanier with a7 has got the best of him. We have plenty of ways to chop this one, but for now, Zamani's tournament life on the line with the inferior ace. Here comes the flop. 9-8-5. Both players picking up a gut shot straight. Zamani, instead of needing a 6, now needs a 7. Still plenty of ways to chop this as Zamani looks to survive. Turn is the jack of diamonds. Now it's 50-50 to chop, and the other 43% Vanier wins this one. Zamani looking for a 7 and a 7 only for the double up. Zamani 50% to stay alive in this event. River is the jack of hearts, and we are going to chop this. I guess he was 57% to survive. 50% for the chop, 7% for his own 3 outs. So play will continue 3-handed. Zamani finds ace-5 on the button.
10 seconds.
Probably a nice hand to get aggressive with. He announces all in. And Champlin finds the bigger ace, the much bigger ace. Ace-Jack offsuit in the small blind. Champlin has Zamani covered by exactly 25,000 chips if those counts are spot on.
All in.
And he moves all in. Are we going to see Vanier take a stab at finishing the tournament right here? He won't. So we're going to have an all-in showdown between the two smaller stacks. Champlin covers Zamani by a single purple chip. Vanier, the onlooker, awaiting the next pay jump, as even if Zamani wins this, Champlin will be all but out of here. Here comes the flop. Queen 6-4. Pretty clean for Champlin. Zamani looking for a 5 or running cards to make a straight or a flush.
You win this one.
I'll take it. I'll take this one. You take the next one.
Turn card. 7 of hearts. That brings in the potential backdoor straight draw.
You want to let him sweat it?
No, he hits all his outs.
Zamani looking for an 8-5 or 3 to basically knock Champlin out. River is the queen of diamonds, and that'll do it. Zamani eliminated as Spencer Champlin rakes this one in, and he will go into the heads-up battle with Mike Vanier with roughly a 2-to-1 underdog position. Donnie Vanier versus Champlin. Perhaps not the expected heads-up, but whoever wins this is going to be a real contender in the race for the PGT Championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us were looking at Zamani getting down to heads-up play, but goes out in third, and now we got Champlin versus Vanier. There's Vanier. 315 points up top. Great start to the PGT season for either of these players. Of course, we saw Vanier at a final table earlier this series, so
one box.
He's off to a good start. And then I would guess that both these players end up hopping in the final 10K event of this series, so a chance at even more points at the PGT kickoff.
As we look at the chip counts going into heads-up play, 10.8 versus 4.8 million chips. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win this thing. Both players chasing a win here inside the studio, and for Vanier, it would be his first. For Champlin, it would be his second. Both players at their second final table inside the studio, and there it is, the trophy that's up for grabs, along with the cash and the points.
You're just under 5?
I like 4.7, so you must have...
I got 10.875, I think.
What's that?
10.875, I think.
10.8.
All right, first hand of heads-up play underway here. All right, chat, who you got? Can Vanier close it out, or is Champlin going to mount a comeback and pull this thing off?
10 seconds.
$575 total.
Seconds.
10K final event of the kickoff is underway inside the studio as players look to claim the largest points prize of the entire week. Donnie, this is the most valuable 10K of the entire year on the PGT.
Yeah.
I mean, it's double points, so there's so many 10Ks all throughout the year, but you're going to have to win 2 instead of 1. So 56 players so far in the event. Late registration still open for a long time. Re-entry is also available. Give me a line for how many players we'll see when the registration closes.
91.
91. I'll take over. I'll go over on that.
I mean, I very much hope it's way over.
Big spot for both players here. Champlin has 3.6 million in career earnings. Vanier has 2.1. You know, if we're looking at the career averages of most players in the PGT, you know, this is no slight to these players. They are towards the bottom end of what we generally see. So this win potentially more meaningful for these players compared to, you know, the common cast of characters we usually see raking in all the big dollars.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have a sneaky feeling that this season of the PGT is going to be the season of like the next man up or next group up, like the players who are sort of right on the cusp of becoming bigger names in poker. I think this is their jumping off year.
Right. Are there specific other names you're thinking of that would fit that mold that, you know, players or people at home can try and look out for?
I mean, I'm thinking of a Nick Seward, who we saw yesterday at the final table. I'm thinking of somebody like right here, Spencer Champlin. I know he did win an event inside the studio, but I think the large majority of the audience out there probably don't know Spencer Champlin too well. So let's see if he can have some success this year. Sam Laskowitz, you know, I would put into that group. You know, so there's a lot of guys that I think are sort of on the cusp to become much bigger names. You know, I know that this player I'm about to mention next, or I'll say both of them have certainly become bigger names, but they've also kind of missed out on having a lot of success inside the studio, and that's Jeremy Becker and Landon Tice. I know Jeremy Becker did get his first PGT win inside the studio last season. You know, they got obviously a lot of publicity from the whole Landon Tice versus Jeremy Becker bet, which was really a bet by Daniel Negreanu and Matt Berkey by proxy, right? So they are big names, but the results, the final tables, the wins haven't come in the studio yet. Landon Tice had a really good year with some really big scores last year. You know, Becker has obviously been coming up the ranks. They've been in the studio all week. I would expect to see them in the studio, and then they're just going to kind of start really getting those results.
We see Vanier take down a pretty sizable one here as we were having some issues with the RFID reader in front of Champlin.
Well, they shouldn't have moved him.
I mean, it could also just
be... It was working before.
It could also just be that he's been stacking his cards a bit too tightly, which sometimes allows the reader not to catch whatever's going on there. But that'll be resolved pretty quickly as Vanier extends his chip lead, 12 million to 3.7 million. I wonder if Vanier wins, if he's going to take the glasses off and, you know, show some emotion, or if this is just him at all times of the day, you know, cool, calm, and collected. And, you know, either way, I'm fine with it. I'm just curious about it.
10 seconds.
375.
Vanier, Jack, 9 of diamonds. I mean, as you can see right here, Vanier. Oh, we do get to see his card. I was going to say his card's not hitting the reader box, but they have been absorbed into the system. King 6 suited for him, and that looks pretty decent. King 9-8, 2 clubs. Vanier picks up a 9. Okay. Champlin with top pair.
There are probably going to be some chips going in here in terms of Vanier. He does check back, okay. Double flush draw on board. Let's see if Champlin decides to size this up a little bit here. 900K out there.
10 seconds.
750.
There it is, 750.
Can't really fault Vanier here for coming along with the 9, Donnie. In general, are we calling down with a 9 if we see a blank on the river? Is the 9 strong enough?
I mean, it could very well be. I think it'll depend on what sort of sizing Champlin comes with. Now, I don't know how Champlin views Vanier, but what I'll say is if he's checking back a 9 on this flop, maybe he also checks back an 8. If Champlin has that sort of same thought process, then, or if he's played similar hands against Vanier throughout this tournament, then it can go into his decision here and what he decides to come with.
800.
Time extension.
Champlin comes with 800,000, and the snap call follows. Massive chip up here for Champlin, who wins a 4 million chip pot with King 6, and he's up to 5.6 million, his highest watermark of the day.
Nice pickup there.
Do you like how Vanier had basically decided, I'm calling no matter what?
I think he was probably going to lean call yes, but also the sizing, I think, allowed him to call for sure.
All right, if you want to learn more about sizing and how to play the game of poker in the best possible way, you better join the tribe right now, grow the game, and pursue that mastery. Head on over to octopypoker.ai, scan the QR code on your screen, and if you become a paying member, you're entered into a raffle that might end you up in event number 1 of the 2025 Poker Masters. So go check them out, octopypoker.ai, the best study tool for all levels.
And also on sizing, I mean, at least I always catch myself, like if I was in Champlin's shoes there and I get snap called, I would almost always think, man, I could have bet bigger. Because if you just got snapped off, like it was so easy for your opponent to decide. You know, you always want to lean to get the maximum when you can, when you're coming with value. So, you know, could he have gone half pot, maybe, you know, 2/3, 3/4 pot and got a call there?
10 seconds.
It's always worth considering when you get called so quickly. Vanier attacking.
I'm sorry, 550. 550.
Vanier makes it 550, and look at this, Champlin making the call. I'm in no way a heads-up specialist, but do you like a play like this where you're in position with the offsuit queen, trying to perhaps use that position to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has enough equity that you can play it in position. He's deep enough that he's comfortable calling here. You know, what do you have, 38 big blinds or so, 40 big blinds? So I think it's fine. You know, if you just start limp folding hands like Queen 8 heads up, I think your opponent's just going to start running you over.
After 2 checks,
600.
Vanier betting 600K on the turn and gets it done.
Look at Vanier, just spinning the chips,
He's
lining up the flags.
in his own world, you know, just
10 seconds.
doing it the way he wants to do it.
I used to play with a woman years ago, cash games, and she would always clean the chips.
Oh, like with like a disinfectant or something?
Well, she would oftentimes wear gloves and, like, you know, kind of scratch on the various residue that would, you know, get built up on cash game chips over times, and she would always just like scrub them. She would keep the dirty ones to the side if she won a pot, and then one by one, like, rub off the stuff and then put them in her clean stack. I was like, man,
Put this lady in the Hall of Fame. Look at this. We got Vanier making it 375. Champlin comes over the top with the inferior king. Very interesting dynamic developing right here.
Vanier not backing down here. He is coming along, and if he only knew how good of a spot he was in. Absolutely dominating Champlin here. At least Champlin fades the king high, because that could have been disastrous for him.
9-8-4, 2 hearts. Champlin really whiffing on this thing and decides to check. Is this the type of board where you're just simply trying to, you know, give up because of the risk that it involves if you want to continue?
Yeah, I think your opponent can, you know, raise and call with a lot of like kind of connectivity around the 9-8 there.
Ten of spades on the river will add to Vanier's confidence here. 2.3 million in the middle. Champlin, after that pre-flop 3-bet, decided to not invest any more chips. Now, in theory, is this a good card for Champlin to bet on?
Time extension.
I don't think so. I think it's better for the caller in position.
Well, Champlin is going to reach. Oh, it's a hefty bet. And Vanier scratching his head faced with 1.45 million. Is this the type of pondering you do when you know it's very hard to fold, given the strength of your hand?
I mean, I think he's just obviously worried about different hands that can beat him, but I think his hand is too strong that he has to call this.
And Vanier does make the call, and the 10 on the river gives him the confidence and the chips. Champlin down to 2.4 million, and in a world of trouble here, as Vanier up to 13.3 million, inching closer and closer to his first win inside the PokerGO studio. Seeing some people in the chat wondering, asking, talking about whether Champlin should have put in a C-bet on the flop, Donnie, after 3-betting with King 6. How do you feel about that?
In a simple form, I generally lean yes in a lot of spots when you're that pre-flop aggressor, especially as a pre-flop 3-better, right? Because in terms of like who has the nuts and who doesn't, you're going to have more nuts in your range than your opponent there. You know, you're going to have a lot of the big overpairs, a lot of the big, you know, suited hearts, for example, on that texture. Like you have like the ace-king suited, the ace-queen suited, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily know that it was going to work. I mean, you know, Vanier could have come along. I think he had a heart in his hand too. He obviously had that 10 that did have a little bit of connectivity to the 8-9, so depending on sizing, maybe Vanier peels in position, but
I guess you weren't folding any size for that King 10 pre.
I mean,
jam.
Kick myself.
Perhaps the first word spoken by Vanier at this final table. He's letting the chips do the talking.
10 seconds.
Vanier made it 375. Champlin came along, make the call. King 3-6, rainbow flop. Vanier continues with aggression.
Which I think is par for the course for him, especially on a texture like this that he can represent as the pre-flop raiser. That said, I know it's bottom pair and it's, you know, not the prettiest and may not make you feel the most comfortable, but heads up play, you flop a pair, you know, I don't think you can really go anywhere on the flop at least. And Champlin does continue to the turn. Hi.
3 of clubs on the turn gives Champlin the check mark. Very important card, as Vanier might feel as though he can continue to apply pressure here. But it does go check-check, so saves himself a bet. Jack of Hearts completes the board. Now, if you're Champlin, do you often try to get your own value here, or are you better off setting the proverbial trap?
You know, I would lean to just try and get your own value. I think there's going to be some hands that Vanier, like the ace highs of the world, that he probably just finds a check back here on the river. So in that case, you could get called by an ace high at times, you know.
Time extension.
Champlin taking his time, using a time extension before reaching for some chips.
Does he have? Where are his time extensions, by the way?
Oh,
2.5.
2.5 million is the bet. Goes for the overbet as he fumbled some of his chips.
I don't think he has 2.5. So I think this is all in.
It looked as though we had 5 stacks of purple there, so perhaps he did have some. Donnie, did you see 5 stacks of purple?
I didn't look because I was too busy looking where his time extensions were, but we are getting word that the stats are wrong on the screen. So he does have the chips. So he probably has what, 2.6s or so? You said you saw about 5 stacks?
Yeah.
And then obviously a little bit more. So
10 seconds.
just under a jam.
Time extension.
And Vanier decides to let this one go. Ace high into the mug as Champlin gets the win one.
I gotta throw up for hand, 3-minute mark. I gotta play one hand, and then blind will be up.
Blinds about to go up. Thank you all once again for tuning in. Make sure to smash like, subscribe to the channel if you're catching us on YouTube. We're bringing you the finale of the kickoff tomorrow, which will be a 10K buy-in final table, so it should be a bigger first prize. Perhaps also some of your favorite big names in action as Champlin finds kings. Donnie, breaking out our old school live reporting qualities, I now see 6 stacks of purple. That's 3 million. I call that 4.3, 4.4, 4.5-ish. Does that sound right to you?
Looks good to me. Could see a clash of hands here. Ace-5 suited heads up.
10 seconds.
Certainly looks very good. And Champlin here started this one off with a limp.
Well, the limp is being attacked here by Vanier, who has a strong heads-up hand himself. So Vanier, excuse me, Champlin working with about 4.5, 4.6 million.
Time extension.
His time extension chips way back in the corner. We can't even see them.
$1.35.
10 seconds.
1.2.
Close enough. The limp 3-bet arrives. Now, if you're Vanier, is ace-5 always strong enough to go with here? Are we ever concerned? Because even if we run into kings, you can see it on the screen, still got 33%.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when you have these ace wheel suited cards, at worst you have 33%. You know, and there's the jam.
The jam indeed, and Champlin with the snap call. Champlin's tournament life on the line, but holding the beautiful looking pocket kings. If Champlin wins this one, we have a very even match on our hands. And not many people would have predicted that about 30 minutes ago when Vanier seemingly had no way to lose. Queen 8-4, all hearts, neither player with a heart. Vanier looking for an ace and an ace only to bust Champlin and take down the title. He's gonna do the prepay in hopes of getting lucky by doing so. Champlin paying his time extension debts. The 3 of spades hits on the turn. Vanier picking up some additional outs. It's an ace or a deuce, or else we'll have a very even heads-up battle. River card is the 4 of diamonds, and Champlin receives a monster double up to 8.15 million. And look at that, Donnie Peters. We have basically an even heads-up match.
Yeah, less than one big blind separating these two players now, and the first real misstep from Vanier. I know he's, you know, gotten his money in behind before, but that was largely when he was the overwhelming chip leader and was just putting maximum pressure on his opponent. Here, as we can see by the result, you know, that was a one he wants to have back, I'll say.
All right, we are being told that we're doing a quick color-up of some of these chips. So we'll be back in just a few seconds as we are doing a quick little commercial break. See you in a few.
Poker, a game of infinite complexity. How simple can we make it? Every hand I play is a teacher, each emotion a guide. Our experience and technological innovation will help you unlock your game's potential. Octopi Poker. Pursue mastery.
Want to play online poker for free? With PlayPokerGo, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PlayPokerGo lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PlayPokerGo on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
Tournament director Alan making sure the chips are right. The counts will be updated. And we will find out here very shortly that Champlin is actually the chip leader by 300,000. So we got 8.6 million versus 8.3 million. Mike Vanier, I thought it wasn't possible, but he's a short stack with 47 big blinds.
Let me know when you guys ready.
All right, waiting for the cards to get back in the air. Vanier with the premium here. Ace, queen, offsuit.
10 seconds.
That's a nice one.
Raise to 700. Yes.
It's a big raise.
That is a big raise.
700.
10 seconds.
Champlin agrees.
Yeah.
Can I confirm that's 700, right?
Fold.
Decides to let it go. Blinds, by the way, now 100K, 200K with a 200K big blind ante. Tons of chips up for grabs every single hand. Starting out with 500K already in the middle. Champlin, queen 9 off on the button. That's definitely a raising hand. Or perhaps just a limping hand. Eight, 7 deuce, 2 diamonds. Vanier finds himself catching top pair. Let's see if Champlin wants to get involved here in the limp pot.
That's 450.
Champlin betting 450 into 600. Music to the ears of
14.
Vanier, I'm sure.
They suit 10 seconds. How much?
14.
1.4.
Raising to 1.4 million from Vanier. Champlin will surely get the memo that this is the wrong time to continue.
Nice one here for Vanier. King, queen off.
10 seconds. Raise to 500.
Could see a bit of a clash with the ace-9 off. Sliding in there for Champlin.
10 seconds.
All in.
All in.
Just rips it.
Rips all in. Vanier
Can't lose.
asking for a count. Donnie, after all that battling and all those massive hands, if you're Vanier, do you want to let it come down to this very moment?
I think it's close, but that also feels like a pretty hefty shove.
I mean, they're pretty deep.
Yeah, for heads up in the tournament, I think we often see guys play, around what, 20 big blinds. This is about a 40 big blind average, and they're pretty close in chips.
10 seconds.
You're probably flipping sometimes.
Time extension.
I mean, he's gonna have these ace-9, ace-8 offs of the world at times, and you're a dog there, 60-40. So
would you call in Vanier's spot, Donnie? Would you feel as though this is the right moment?
I think I would pass it up. I mean, I might be wrong there, but I think I would pass it up. He's gonna call.
Vanier not passing up on the moment. He's going to make the call. Spencer Champlin's tournament life on the line, but he is holding the best hand. 14.9 million in the middle. Whoever wins this hand It's either over or it's almost over because Vanier only has him covered by 850,000 chips. Here comes the flop. Jack 6-8, ace high reigns supreme for now. The adrenaline levels must be at an all-time high for both players as this is basically deciding who will win the tournament. Vanier getting ready to pay off his debts here as the 4 of diamonds doesn't change a thing. Vanier looking for a king and a queen. King or a queen, and that's the only thing that'll help him. Massive river card coming up. It's the 5 of hearts, and Spencer Champlin doubles up to 15 million, leaving his opponent with just 4 big blinds. The road to victory for Mike Vanier all of a sudden looks very dark and treacherous. All right, chat. Would you have called it off for your tournament life with King Queen? Let me know. Enormous pot, and look at Vanier. He watches on as his chips disappear and are pushed across the table.
Thanks.
Seeing some yeses and some nos in the chat from players either willing to gamble or not willing to gamble, because that's sort of what it feels like, Donnie. It feels like you're taking that gamble, that coin flip, because that's sort of the best you can hope for.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 37 or 38 bigs. I mean, that was a lot of chips.
Oh, yeah.
Champlin limping in. Vanier with ace-8. He's got a big one. He's going to move all in for 1.55. And Champlin letting this one go. All right. All of a sudden, from nothing to 10 bigs, basically. That's how big the game is right now. Vanier is going to want a few more double ups before he can be comfortable again. This is now Spencer Champlin's tournament to lose. As I mentioned before, Champlin off to a really hot start in 2025, finishing second in the Lucky Hearts Poker Open in Hollywood, Florida. This is already his 4th cash on the year, also finished in the money in the Borgata Poker Open Championship.
Oh,
wow. And Spencer Champlin finds kings at the right time as Mike Vanier jams with King 10 offsuit. Spencer Champlin, 89% to win this tournament and add $157,000 to his bankroll.
Twice now, Vanier's jammed into the kings of Champlin. Did it earlier with the ace-5 of diamonds, here with a crushed King 10.
All right, here comes the flop. Ace, King, Queen, and despite Champlin hitting a set, Vanier still live, looking for a jack to make a straight. Champlin looking to close things out here. Vanier still with a little bit of hope to stay alive in this event. Turn card, 3 of spades. Vanier looking for a jack and a jack only. Is it going to be there? Can he survive? River card is the 9 of hearts, and that will do it. Spencer Champlin is our champion, winner of the PGT Kickoff event number 4 here in 2025, as Mike Vanier dominated the final table, was not able to close things out here during heads-up play. Vanier takes home $97,650, but the champion, Mr. Champlin, collects $157,500. And a boatload of points in the race for the PGT Championship. Spencer Champlin will be a force this year on the PGT, I'm sure. Little look inside the room as the 10K is underway. Nick Schulman, Joseph Chong among the players I see here on the front table. Plenty more action still to come here from the PokerGO studio as we get ready for tomorrow's final table, which will be at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Big payouts on the line tomorrow. Also big points on the line tomorrow. For now, I'd like to say follow the live reporting on PGT.com. My name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters was alongside me. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you tomorrow for the grand finale of the PGT Kickoff.